Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Track Talk. We're live here at the WDAY studios right off I-29 next to Thunder Road. You can tune in to AM 970 or 93.1 FM, or we are broadcasting live on Facebook. We tried that last time, and it went pretty good. Joining us, as always, is Addison in the old control room. How you doing today, Addison?
Another fabulous day in the life. No complaints from me.
There you go.
It's dark outside early. That's weird.
It's really weird. You know, I knew that we had Track Talk again tonight because on the way to work, I heard Jace say it on the sports. Or no, Big Game James it was that said it. But I knew it was a third Monday. We do it the first and third Monday of the month during the wintertime.
Oh, at least one of us knew it was today.
Yeah, you got to keep on your toes a little bit. Did JT have to tell you it was Track Talk night tonight?
Maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe. Sneaks up on me.
It's hard to get in the pattern of it, So, it's one of the things you got to get used to.
You know what? This time, though, it's easier this time because we're cemented into the first and the third Monday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
Last time, it was just every other Monday, and that could get confusing fast.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of did. There's actually it was 70 8 or 9 degrees today.
Too hot for me.
You would think that we could still be racing, but pretty much all tracks after last weekend in this area are closed down. However, Park Jefferson Speedway, which I have a bad incident where I wrecked, but it's a good track. They're having a race in November 2nd.
Now that seems really late.
It does, but I mean it is the south part of South Dakota kind of, so it's a little bit warmer down there.
I suppose.
So it's a little bit warmer. But our first guest that I've got, they've got warmer weather. They're out in California. Brian Fonseca is joining us tonight. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Not too bad. So when we talked, you're on the way back from North Carolina. Your company, I believe it was, you guys sent, 2 different shipments of items that were needed to the hurricane-ravaged areas. Is that not correct?
Yes, sir. We had gone to Asheville, North Carolina. Dropped off 4 shower units and 2 big, huge generators to kind of help out.
And how big? What kind of a drive was that from where you live? That has got to be just a ton of hours behind the wheel.
Yes, that is the first time. It's about 3 days. To get out there, 2.5, 3 days.
Wow, but I'm sure everything you brought was much appreciative. I'm sure that's great that you guys were able to and willing to do something like that, because I'm sure the people down there could really use support like that.
Oh yes, they can use that and much more.
Yeah, when we were talking, you said it's just like a war zone down there. It's just disaster.
Yeah. A lot of the homes along the river, the only thing left there are foundations, and some lower parts of North Carolina actually had flooded. There was a horse ranch that had probably 50 horses on it, and they were only able to save 2 of them out of all of them. The rest of them kind of met their demise.
Oh, unfortunately. That is unfortunate. Well, you're on your way back, so safe travels. And, like I said, that's a great thing that you guys are doing, and glad you have been able to make it homeward, almost home safe. But let's turn to a little bit of racing, a little bit of positive stuff. Change it from that.
Okay.
You guys have a big event. It's a very big annual event, the Hangtown 100. It starts November 15th and runs through the 16th. The registration is now open. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about the Hangtown 100, how it came about, and what the plan is for this?
This year, the 100 was basically a midget show, and we were supporting class, doing it for the last couple seasons. The entry fees is $50. Right now, you can go online to hangtown100.com. Or you can go to the Placerville Speedway website page, and you can register there. It's $50, and it's a 2-day show. It used to be a 3-day show, but I believe with the public, with their work schedule, they brought it down to to 2 nights because the first night basically looked like a practice night. Hardly anybody in the stands.
I thought I remembered that it used to be when I first met you guys. I thought it was 3 days back then, or has it been 2 days for quite a while, or did that just changed recently?
That just changed recently. It used to be 3 days.
That's what I thought.
It used to
I
be a
remember
3-day show.
Brent was always trying to get us to come out there, and we had planned to one year, and I blew a motor at the last race of the season, so we didn't have another horse in the barn there, so to speak, and
yes.
couldn't make it out there. Now I'm looking at the Facebook post of it. You guys are looking for lap sponsors. We do that as well for the Lightning Sprint Nationals when we do that. All that stuff is great, especially when you have travelers or any additional money that the racers can win is extra incentive, and it's just a bonus. It's a plus. So you're looking for more sponsors, $25 a lap.
Yes, so we're looking for $25 a lap for sponsorship on the laps. We were waiting on a big sponsor to post the payouts. It's I want to say, don't quote me on it at this moment, but the least you can win right now at say first P1 is $2,000 a night. Plus, if you were to lead, every lap, then that's a fair bit of money.
That's a fair bit of money.
We have working on. Yes, we're working on 2 more big sponsors. So hopefully, we wanted to try to. It was just at first it was like kind of thrown together. Hey, we need a supporting class, and it just gave us the opportunity. And there's a handful of us that we travel around, so we love to race. So we figured, like you put on a big, you have put on a big show at your national, so we wanted to try to do the same to get people out here. Since it's going to be a every year thing, try to make it a big bucket list place to go to.
Absolutely.
Placerville Speedway is awesome. It's a little bull ring, little quarter-mile bull ring, and it is elbows up racing.
I had told Brent, Brian, I said, if you keep one of them lightning sprints, all I have to do is take a plane down there. I'm more than happy to fill in, I told him.
That'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
Yeah,
Placerville is kind of like River Cities.
Okay.
It's not as high banked. River Cities. Myself and Scott Kinney, we always said that River City was Placerville on steroids. A little more higher banked, but it's pretty much the same style track.
Yeah, and I have a love-hate relationship with that track. I love watching racing there, but to be honest, the first few years of racing, I did not like that track as a racer. But now, over the last 2 years, I've really gotten to enjoy racing that track. Once you learn how to not be afraid of running the high side and being able to just throw that right rear up on the cushion, it makes a big difference in your mentality and how you think and how you can run a lap at the River City Speedway.
Yes, definitely. It's nice to run up high, but for a little car, sometimes, mid-track is usually is the high line for us. You get any higher than that, and it's kind of a long way around the track.
Oh, absolutely. And, if you can find a flat spot, it's always a little better, too, on the bottom down there. How's the season been going so far?
Our season's gone pretty good. We were in second place at the moment. We were really close. We had some issues, had a DNF, 2 of them, one with the motor issue, one we got taken out. So kind of knocked us out of the championship contention, but that's racing.
It is. It's a funny game. One day you can be, look at Joey Logano. He goes home from the racetrack not in the round of 8, and by the time he gets home, he finds out that he's now moving on in the NASCAR playoffs. Things can change in a hurry, can't they?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
So I'm looking at the flyer here, Brian.
Yeah.
It's November 15th and 16th. Registration is now open. You can go there and get it. You can register at www Hangtown 100. Register 2024. It's a quarter-mile track. There's camping on site. And is that correct? 13,000 tickets sold in 2023?
Yes.
That is awesome.
They had Hangtown or Placerville is like a racing hub. I mean, a lot of fans there. A lot of the racers, the Northern California would say California racers love that place. It's one of the best tracks we have out here in California, in my opinion. Besides, I would say my second favorite would be actually Merced.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a place to go to. There's on-site camping. There's 2 or 3 hotels within 5 miles of the track. By where I live, we have the hotel and casino, so you can gamble a little bit, and you can also stay there.
That's always a good thing. Win a little bit of money, spend a little bit of money. That's how it works, right? Circular transactions.
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
How long have you been in the Lightning Sprint division, Brian?
I've been in it for 10 years now.
And since you started, what do you think the most significant thing has been in cost-wise that's really escalated that surprised you or you would like to see changed to help control costs?
The most that I've seen is the motors. Motors have gotten more expensive. Everybody's running some of the newer motors,
Mm-hmm.
the 2017 ZX10s or the Suzukis. And not only are we running them, you have the dwarf car class that's out here in Northern California. I don't know if you guys have dwarf cars out there with you.
I don't know. They might be similar to the Legend class, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. We call them clown cars sometimes. But,
Yep.
Not to take anything away from them, they're an awesome class to watch race. But everybody's running these motors, and anybody that has a motor for sale knows what people are paying for them. And it would be nice to find a different avenue with motors. I mean, there are certain motors that have been kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Blackballed from racing, like
Mm-hmm.
the Aprilia motors.
Yep.
I'd like to see those out there. They're more like they're kind of like a ZX10. They have low end torque, and there's a whole buttload of them because nobody's running them, and they're only like $2,000 and $3,000 for a motor out of a bike, opposed to paying $6,000 and $7,000 or even more for a motor now.
Absolutely. That was one
Motors
thing.
and tires.
Yeah, when I first started.
Motors and tires are the most things.
Yeah, when I first started, Brian, it was $2,500 all day long on eBay for a motor I was running. You're right. The tires are ridiculous. I pay for my 305 Sprint car about the same as I pay for my Lightning Sprint tires, which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And
I bought a set of.
They're racing for double the money, kind of. I mean, the 305s.
Yeah. Yeah, I would call our class like a hobby class, but there are a lot of guys that take it serious. I'm more than one of them because I travel all over the place to race
Mm-hmm.
and to keep buying tires. I mean, beginning of the season, my front tires cost more than my rear tires did.
I know, and you don't have any places real close by. I mean, to run on it, you have to do some traveling to run to all your different tracks, don't you?
Yeah, our farthest track is about 4.5 hours away, Bakersfield. And the closest is Placerville, which is only like 5 minutes away, 5-10 minutes away from my house.
Well, that's kind of nice. That is kind of nice.
Yeah, so all the rest of them are probably about 2.5 hours. So anywhere I go besides Placerville, it's about 2.5 hours to a track. I add on another hour just for the trailer and traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say anywhere else is like 3 to 4 hours away.
Wow. That's the thing. Racing takes dedication.
Yes. And then my wife thinks I'm crazy because I'll go out with you guys, or I'll go up to Washington, or I'll go all the way down south to go race with Brent and his group.
Well, we love it when you guys come up here. We hope to see you again sometime. We're running a little bit out of time here, Brian, so I got to let you go. But again, for anybody that's listening, and Brian can share this, it'll be up on my Facebook page tonight, a little later. Brian, you can share it out there. Hopefully you can get the word out. You can pick up some more lap sponsors, and maybe someone's listening. You don't have to be a business. It can just be, somebody, your name, you just want to help contribute. You're more than welcome. You can get a hold of Brian or Samantha, and they'll gladly put your name out there. So, Brian, again, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, everybody. Brian Fonseca, one of my buddies from California that races in the Light and Sprint's been up here for the Light and Sprint Nationals a few times. We're going to take a break. We'll come back just after the 7 o'clock hour right here on Track Talk with Marv Priem. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Track Talk. We're live here at the WDAY studios right next to Thunder Road. You can catch us driving by on I-29. You can probably see in here. It's so well lit. It's so weird. It's dark at us, and like
They can all see you, and all you can see is their faint headlights through our extremely well-tinted windows.
exactly. 2 weeks ago when we had the show, it was still light outside. It's 2 weeks. That's all it was.
I was going to say last episode when I had to let you in, I had to sit downstairs with my sunglasses on. I couldn't even look into the parking lot.
Yeah, it was.
Today the sun was barely even up.
Yeah, it's unreal. In a week, it'll be dark by 6 o'clock all day. Man,
Not good for my sleep habits.
No, you don't have good ones anyway. Every time you tell me so.
No, I do not. So it's only going to get worse.
There you go. All right, joining us up next is driver of the number 4. I guess it's a IMCA sport mod now. I can't say hobby stock. He moved up to the sport mod division. Marv Priem, how you doing tonight, Marv?
Good. And yourself?
Not too bad. So after let me go backwards in time here a little bit. Now, in the old days of racing, what classes did you all race prior to, let's say, 2015? What classes had you raced?
Oh, I started out at the Buffalo River Speedway in what was called a Thunder car. That's what I started out in.
What was a Thunder car?
Basically break the windows out of a car, put a roll cage in it, and go see what you can do.
All right.
Pretty basic, and that's where we started. My dad and I started out like that. Didn't know the first thing about it, and my very first car actually was a '66 Ford Fairlane that we had built. And after that, I went to what was called a street car back then.
Mm-hmm.
I raced that, I believe, 2 years. And then a couple of years in the old Minn Kota hobby stocks, raced a couple of years in those. And then I got out for a little bit of time, 3-4 years, and I came back in with the old Outlaw street cars. I don't know if you ever remember them, that
Yep.
they raced in West Fargo.
Yep, I remember like Verlerud and Jim Geringer were in that class, I believe, and a few others. Yep.
And then from there, I went to a Wazota A-Mod and ran them for many years. And then I got out again, and as you know, ended up in a hobby stock for, 4 years? And then decided to go back to a sport mod last year.
That racing addiction, it doesn't quite go away. I mean, I've heard from different people that not only if you quit, you have to pretty much stay away. But then you take like a Dave Boyer. I see him and Joe Jacobson every Sunday night at the races in their same spot. But my buddy Shane Tenderland, I can't even tell you about the last time I seen him at a race, because once he was done kind of thing.
Yeah, I stayed away when I took the long stretch off. I stayed away quite a bit. I'd go on occasion. And what kind of bit me back was had the opportunity to drive a car one night, and we all know where that ends up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was back in it.
So how was the transition into the sport mod this year? I mean, you spent a lot of time. I mean, your shop's right next door, so I mean, I know you had a lot of excitement going into it. And it didn't quite pan out for various reasons. You didn't get to race the whole season. We'll get to that. But, how did the year start off for you with that in mind of changing classes and your expectations?
Well, I didn't put huge expectations on myself. It was going to be, I'm going to have to get reacclimated to those kind of cars. And I knew that. So I wasn't putting a whole lot of stress on myself right out of the gate. And so I wasn't disappointed by any means. And like you said, I didn't get to run all year.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of the reasoning I didn't race all year, I think, was a huge part of my performance. And I kind of realized, and it dawned on me after watching film of the racing, that I wasn't doing things the way they should be done and the way I normally would. So it was time to take a step back.
Mm-hmm. And you had a little bit of vision trouble that you had to get attended to as well.
and that was the reasoning. I ended up with needing a cataract eye surgery, and my depth perception was worse than what I thought it was. And so with that being said, my actual, I was noticing on tape, my corner entries were, to say the least, very bad. I was not entering anywhere near where I should. So the best thing to do with that being said was, so I wasn't going to tear up my equipment or somebody else's, was to step out of the car till my vision was corrected. And that's what we did this year.
Is it tough to watch somebody run your car, or do you get a kick out of that as well?
I enjoyed it as much as if I was driving it myself. I've been friends with Dev for 25, 30 years or so. He's been in my car before, so I knew what to expect, and I enjoyed the races just as much, taking it out there and working with him on the car and watching the car as much as I was driving it myself. I'm a fan of the sport. I don't absolutely have to be in the seat to enjoy it.
So, what is your plan? I know you're already hard at work. I've seen you at the shop. You're one of the people that I noticed this last year. Actually, the last couple of years. You are one of the most prepared drivers that I know. You're already ready to get the thing freshly skinned and wrapped and everything, and it's not even November. I mean, you'll have your car ready to go before Christmas rolls around, and be waiting for the snow to melt, where people are just starting to roll them out of the trailer to start working on them.
Yeah, I try to stay ahead of the game. So that way, if say a family event comes up, you're not at the last minute working on a car. I prefer to have it done as soon as possible, and sit in the chair and, come March and look at it and think, okay, what did I forget?
Mm-hmm.
I like to stay with it. I like to get it done early, so I can concentrate on more of the fine tuning and making sure I don't overlook anything. I think it's very important to, say, on a weekly basis, nut and bolt your car. And I think people put things together so quickly that they end up taking themselves out of racing by not being prepared when they get there. So I do everything I can to be prepared.
Well, I noticed, and being neighbors to you, one of the things is, and part of it is your work schedule, but not always your work schedule. You typically only race Buffalo River Speedway, and you spend that Saturday, or even if you did race on a Friday night, you spend that Saturday pretty much. You're one of the first people up in the shop up there, going through the car, getting it ready. Whether you raced it Friday night and get ready for Sunday, or Sunday is going to be your first night of the weekend. So your preparation that you put into the car is pretty extensive.
Oh, absolutely. I have always said that you can never check something enough time, too many times. So I do. I try to, what we would call, I don't know, massage the car, check it over, and just be prepared. Why go out there if you're not prepared and you're going to have problems, the minute you pull the car out of the trailer? That's counterproductive in my opinion. So prepping the car and being ready for race night is very high on my things to do. I like to be ready and prepared.
What did you notice, Marv, the difference between in the time you had this year, your hobby stock versus the sport mod? What were the differences in the driving and just some of the feel you got in the car?
Well, the big thing is you're going from a class that really limits what you can do chassis and suspension wise. So you do the best you can with it, and you have to adapt to the car. When you get into like a sport mod where you can make so many changes, different shocks, different springs, you can move your lengths. There's more adjustability, but also they're more temperamental too. A little change can make a huge difference. To where in a hobby stock, you had to make a big swing to make a difference in the car. And it was a lot for me to take myself back and not overthink the car and make little changes, and didn't get enough seat time really to come up with a conclusion on how I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get that next year. We'll be fine.
Well, so what is the plans for next year? Running the sport mod. Going to try to run some West Fargo as well, or stick with your kind of Sundays, and if you can run on a different night, kind of thing?
Well, what I usually do, and I'm going to go into next year the same as I did any other year. Work permitting, I would like to go to Fargo on occasion. If I can't, I can't. I try to spend as much a Saturday with my grandkids at the lake and the family. But our big plan is to be in Glendon every Sunday. That's our plan, and my wife enjoys that track. It's her favorite, so we try to focus on that one. And if we can make it somewhere else on occasion, we will. I don't need to race 2-3 nights a week. One's plenty for me at this stage, and but we'll concentrate basically on being at Buffalo River, and if we can make it elsewhere, we will.
As far as specials, what is one that you'd still like to hit and really would be high on your bucket list if you could get a win at around the area?
The Jamestown Stampede has always been a big. Even making the show there is just success to a lot of people, and that's one. If I was going to travel to a special, that would be number one on my list.
Yeah, that one, it's been around a long time, and it's a special race, that's for sure. Marv, I hope that the winter season, I'm sure we'll run into each. I don't even know why I'm telling you I hope to see you in the spring, because I'll see you probably in a couple weeks. But I was going to say, it's a good thing, Pam, like you said, she has her spot inside. But you do take a lot of Saturdays for the lake, barring any accidents or anything like that. That's probably why Pam still lets you race, isn't it?
I would think that has a lot to do with it. I really do. But she enjoys it also, and she's very supportive. She's my biggest fan, supports everything I do, and we like to have, now that we have a couple of grandsons, we like to spend our time with them too. So we try to balance it out the best we can.
So are you hoping either of the grandkids wants to follow in Grandpa's footsteps and race when they get a little older?
If that's what they would wish to do, I would back them 100%.
Well, there you go. Grandpa might have to get 2 go-karts in the near future then, right?
I would be okay with that.
All right. Marv Priem joining us here on Track Talk. We're going to take a quick break. Everybody come back, and only going to have a few minutes in between before we got Wayne Becker will be with us at the bottom of the hour, promoter of the Park Jefferson Speedway down in South Dakota. Lots going on down there, so we'll be right back here on Track Talk. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Track Talk. We're live here in the WDAY studios, high atop I-29 over here, right next to Thunder Road if you ever want to stop in. It is a beautiful, beautiful Monday night. We do it first and third Monday of the month, not every other, first and third Monday of the month.
We've got it down this winter.
Yeah, we do. So hello to everybody that's been watching and messaging on Facebook. Steve, yes, it would be nice if they had music or something during the breaks, but we don't have that capability. But this is better than having my phone tipped up. Although some people have said they liked some of the commentary that I did during when we were off air, but I kind of like that break where I get a drink or run to the bathroom or something,
It must be nice.
It makes it a little easier. So I just was reading somewhere Jonathan Davenport's going to run a race for K&L Rumley. For the K&L Rumley Enterprises for the National 100 coming up. But he does say that he's still committed to his iconic number 49 with Double L Motorsports. Boy, he was running really good at Eldora until the motor expired. And Tim McCready ran really well, was leading the race, ended up finishing second to Bobby Pierce. Now, I had a question here with as phenomenal of a season that Bobby Pierce had. Does the tire doping scandal take anything away from the season that he had? When you figure in there was a lot of different things. He was tested many, many times, I was told, during the season. And this lab, they say, in doing a little research on it, they say it has a history of inaccuracy. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But does it taint the championship that he won? What do you guys think of that? I want to know the real reason behind the Alex Bowman disqualification. And Joey Logano, look at that. He's going home. He's bummed. He's ejected. Gets home, finds out he's in. Then to hear about Alex Bowman throwing his phone in the pool. He threw his phone in the pool so hard, Addison, that the phone thought he got in an accident, and it dialed 911.
I've heard that new phones can do that, and luckily my phone is not capable of doing that because I drop my phone constantly.
Yeah, probably thought you got in an accident. Yeah, it was kind of different. But then, boy, did he make a statement being in it. He punched his way to the Final Four, winning in Las Vegas yesterday. So. Another one's coming up. I always thought this was really cool. Back when I used to get, I think it was Stock Car Racing magazine, the Pennsboro Speedway. That looked like just a cool speedway back in the day. I've read so many things about it. That it was too narrow. The bridges caused it to be tough, rough and everything, and the track was just tough to race on. I've heard all those things. However, you went for the atmosphere. That's what everybody says. It was great to win it, but it was the atmosphere. Sitting on the hill and everything, I think that would be a race that I wish I could, go back in time and watch a race there. I think it'd be pretty cool. Now, Barry Braun and his crew are revitalizing it. It'll be a different configuration. It won't be quite the same, but it will still be Pennsboro Speedway. You can check their Facebook page. It's I think it's coming up this weekend, maybe. It's going to be cool. I'll have to figure out the details of where you can watch it. I don't remember the streaming service it's on now. I lost my note on it. The World of Outlaws have just a couple weeks of racing left coming up. High Limit concluded their season. No surprise, Brad Sweet won the points championship in there. The big surprise that I thought was James McFadden saying that he was going to retire from full-time racing. He never said from racing period in the United States. He just said from full-time competition. So that opens up another seat. Who do you think? Do they think they'll continue to run two cars, one in each tour? What are your thoughts with that Roth Enterprises car? Are they going to stay with one? One on the High Limit, one on the World of Outlaws. Spencer Basin's got a new ride. There's lots of stuff there's lots of just cool stuff going on in sprint car racing. I was one that thought that there wasn't enough sprint cars necessarily to go around. But I must say, as a fan, I found myself bouncing around between World of Outlaws and High Limit many nights. There was nights that I would watch some Lucas Oil lay bottles popped in there too. You definitely can get your action in if you have those two streaming services is great. And there's many other streaming services where you can get your fix for TVs, or for your racing on the TV and internet. You got to pardon me. I'm trying to fill a little bit of time here for Addison here till the bottom of the hour. There's a couple things I want to talk to Wayne Becker about, promoter of the Park Jefferson Speedway. Kind of looking forward to that, because they did a major reconfiguration that I want to talk to him about. And the upcoming race they're having in November here in the Dakotas, which is great. So we're going to take a break. We'll come back here just after the bottom of the hour news right here on Track Talk. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Track Talk. We're live here on AM 970 WI, 93.1 FM. You can tune in to us on Facebook if you want. Go to Track Talk with Jason Berg. We're streaming it live there. I got to say hi to my aunt and uncle in Colorado that are listening tonight on the show. They're watching the stream. So how you guys doing? Lots of stuff going on. I mean, I should have been better prepared for a couple things tonight, but I had a lot of things to do, Addison, getting going. I got surgery next week on the old rotator cuff. Next time you see me, I'm going to be this big old sling in here.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. I was trying to convince myself that it was better and I don't need to do it anymore, but truthfully, it's got to be done. But it's not going to be looking good for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get through it. Anyway, we got a guest we've never had on the show tonight that I believe we haven't had on the show. Wayne Becker, promoter down at Park Jefferson Speedway, is joining us. How you doing tonight, Wayne?
I'm doing good.
You know, I had the opportunity to watch some things on Facebook. You guys did a major renovation here this summer. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, let's go back a little bit. Didn't you do a lot of renovations a couple years ago when you guys with camping and stuff?
First of all, when we took it over, we shortened it from a half mile to a big 3/8 mile. We moved the straightaway or corner 1 and 2 in about 70 foot. Just tried to get a little more racy, a little more excitement, and then we took on the project of building the campground as well, and that's complete and up and going.
And then near the end of the summer, you guys decided to take on a huge task of making the track even more racy. Tell us a little bit about what went into that and how that process came together, because it came together really fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, we basically built the whole track in 3 weeks. The only thing that we used was the front straightaway, and we actually added 100 loads to that as well. So I gave myself a 3-week deadline to get it done before the Iron Cup, and boy, I used to be a dirt contractor when I was younger days, and I thought I had this thing whipped. You know, it's a bigger track, just got to move the dirt that's there, blah, 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 blah. Boy, was I wrong, because we ended up adding 7 foot to the banking and, you know, moving the whole track in. I mean, the back straightaway is half the distance of what it was, less than half. I mean, the infield used to be 400 foot wide. It's now 170 foot wide.
Yeah, and it turned out we were down there for the Iron Cup. I got to race in the Race Saver Sprint class. First time I've ever been to the facility, and was really looking forward to it. And other than poor luck on my part, I mean, I had a great time. Stayed around and watched all the races that night. Good turnout of cars. You had over 200 cars, I believe, wasn't it?
It's about 177, and I apologize to you sprint car drivers not getting enough moisture in the track, but boy, it was it was a lot of work going up into that. Next time we have you guys back, we'll be better prepared, and we got some more walls and things up, and the catch fence and things, so it'll be better next time you guys get around here.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same for everybody. I mean, I noticed that you know, the first part of the race, I saw some guys in the sprint car class, because I didn't make the feature. I had wrecked in the heat, but there were some guys that were making some time up on the middle to top, and then it just seemed like it kind of went away. Coming out of turn 4, it seemed like the bite was really down right at that tire. But I tell you what, a lot of the other classes really put on some good racing. There was 2 good lanes, one on top, one on the bottom for, you know, the modifieds and the other stock car classes. I thought it was very entertaining. We had a good time. We stayed in the bleachers till about the end watching. The only reason I was kind of about ready to head home is I didn't bring a hoodie, and I was a little chilly. It got a little chilly that night.
Sure. We sold out of hoodies that night. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that first time at the facility, it was great. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I look forward to hopefully having an opportunity to come back. The only personal preference I would say is paint that wall yellow or white so I can see it before I hit it next time.
It's already painted.
Is it?
Done, and then there's wheel fits up on the outside of it now.
Well, there you go. That'll help me out not hitting it this time. But no, on a serious note, I had a great time.
We also moved that wall out 3 foot.
Oh,
as well. It was a little tight back there, so we made the adjustment on it.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, though, I mean, I really have, nothing but great things to say about it. I mean, 3 weeks, that is, I mean, we're in the process. I also promote up here at the Buffalo River Speedway, and we're doing the undertaking, too, here of getting the dirt moved. I think they're going to start. I'm not as talented and capable, so we've hired it out to be done. But they're going to start late this week or early next week on moving the dirt. And we're really looking forward to seeing what it brings. I'm hoping the weather sticks because, like you guys, I saw that you had several different people out there having some opportunities to turn laps so that, getting some driver feedback, I think, probably was very helpful in what you're doing.
Sure, yeah. We kind of had it in place in 2 weeks, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first go around, it was just, you could still kind of hold it to the floor in the first corner, and then you'd be coming out, and then, you got a wall or a cliff there. It wasn't great. It wasn't very racy. So we took 2 foot out of the first corner, right? And then that wasn't quite good enough. So we went the next day and added 2 foot to the exit of 2. And it got better and better, and then we ended up, we felt like the front and rear straightaway were dished a little bit, so we went ahead and put about 98 loads of dirt in the front straightaway and the back straightaway, and boy, did it ended up turning out nice. I mean, it's really racy. The hobby stocks this week, I mean, the hobby stocks are throwing sliders, left and right. I mean, so the entertainment value just went up so much. The crowd was cheering and going crazy, and I tell you, it made it all worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
14, 16, 16-hour days, it made it worth it.
So those that are listening tonight, what is your typical race night, Wayne?
Well, I've moved it around. I started on Saturdays. There's a lot of competition on Saturdays. I mean, just so many different tracks racing on Saturday. So we figured we'd go somewhere where nobody else was, real nearby. We went to Thursdays. That wasn't very good. I think a lot of it had to do with rain, though. I mean, it rained all spring and summer, and then we had a flood. We were in 6 foot of water in July. So, but we're gonna go ahead and make the adjustment and move on to Friday nights next year.
Is there any other tracks in the area that run Friday nights? What's the closest track to you that runs a Friday night?
It would be Crawford County Speedway, and it's still a couple hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked into it. There's not really many people that come from their track to mine or ours to theirs, so I don't feel like we're really stepping on their toes too much. Yeah,
West Fargo and Grand Forks used to have a lot of classes that double up, or a couple, I should say, and it was that way. If you're going to Park Jefferson, you're going to go to Park Jefferson, or you're going to go to the other track that's in the area. How often do you run the sprint cars? I mean, on a Friday night, let's say we're not racing in Fargo, and I wanted to run down there. Do you run them once or twice a year, or are they kind of a semi-regular class, or just a once in a while special?
I would say 305s 2 to 3 times a year is kind of the plan. 360s, we did last year, but with this year, with all the setbacks we had, we ended up canceling them in 2024, and we'll probably have them back, either a 360 or a 410 race. Depending on, I've got to, just make sure the facility's safe enough, with these high banks and things like that. I've got to really get some smarter people around me and make sure it's right before we get too crazy with it.
No, I understand that. I mean, you have the capacity, though, to hold some pretty big events, such as your Iron Cup, but you could even go bigger. I mean, plenty of grandstand seating there, lots of area for the cars to park in. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, like I said, I had no idea what to expect when we got there. have nothing but good things to say since I've been there. To anybody that's asked me about it, I had a great time, and if the opportunity comes available next year to go down there again, we aren't racing up here on a Friday night. You'll probably see us in the pits again.
That sounds good. You guys came out for our spring kickoff classic. We'll probably do the same thing again this year. The first warm day, if it's in February, I hope you guys are ready. We raced March 1st this last time, and we had quite a few of the 305s come up here, so we'll do it again.
I can't believe that. I mean, you can race that early. Like the other reason, before I got to get to break, one of the main reasons I haven't even talked to you about, you've got a race coming up November 1st and 2nd, I believe it is here. And, all of our tracks up here in Fargo area are all closed for the year. You've obviously got some nice weather. It's looking like. What kind of turnout do you expect for that class or for this race, Wayne?
I really don't know. I would say it's going to be a decent turnout. I'm just in our regular classes, our hobby stocks are really strong. I believe we'll have 30 hobby stocks, probably around 15 to 20 compacts, and then I'm got USRA and Sport Mods combined, so I'm figuring probably about 40 of them as well, and then stock cars somewhere around 25, and modifieds probably less than 20.
Yeah,
so
that's still a good turnout.
Decent car count.
That's a very good turnout.
It's still going to be a decent.
Normally they're only in the southern states are racing this late, so that's kind of awesome that you guys are able to run this late and have nice enough weather. Are you going to start earlier or anything? Normal start time?
Yeah, we'll start. I plan on starting at 4:00. We did that for the Charlie Clark there, and seemed to work out. It was a pretty good time to start, so I think we're going to stick with that.
All right, Wayne, I appreciate you getting back to me so quick and being on the show with us tonight. You can share it with your listeners. If you go to our Facebook page later, you can share it with the Park Jefferson fans that follow your Facebook page if you want. And we look forward to seeing you next summer again.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for calling.
You bet. Wayne Becker from Park Jefferson Speedway. I'm telling you guys, you got to go check that out. It's a pretty neat deal. We're going to be right back for our last segment here after the break. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Track Talk. You can catch us the first and third Monday nights here on the WDAY channel, 93.1 FM, AM 970. Apparently, not only can you stream us live on Facebook, but now, Addison, I guess we're live on YouTube as well.
Apparently so. You were actually the one who informed me of that earlier.
I gotta thank Chris for that. He goes, "You sure don't look like John Adams."
I was promised John Adams on this stream.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, apparently, and it's a good thing this was pointed out. I'll watch this next time we have an episode.
Yeah.
Just an extra fruit from my labors here in the control room. Apparently, anytime I start a stream, it automatically starts a stream on the WDAY Facebook page or the YouTube page.
Oh.
So, and it was automatically set up to start a show for John Adams, who is not here tonight.
Not here tonight. I certainly
a little bit of clickbait.
Yeah, that's right. People tune in and listen to John Adams. You know, I was going to ask a couple drivers, but I haven't had an opportunity yet. I've got some messages on it. Some drivers that have used what they call the lightsaver. Basically, what it is
A lightsaber.
Kind of. I mean, it's about the same thing. You can mount it to your roll bar, and when they hit a yellow flag on the racetrack, and it'll flash a yellow light in the car or a red light. As another way of, letting the drivers know that there's danger on the track as a kind of a backup in case your receiver's not working. Because I know some tracks also have just horrible, scratchy radios, and I can't hear them hardly. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about something like that? They're about $120, something like that. Should tracks have them? It'd be a topic I'd like to talk to the creator of one day. And talk to a couple racers that have. Maybe I'll grab. I know Casey Usadas is one that has brought it up to me. Tom, to answer your question, we plan on opening probably Mother's Day weekend. That is our typical one. Or we've tried a couple times to open the weekend before, but it hasn't worked. So I would say either the first Sunday in May or Mother's Day weekend would be our planned anticipation. We certainly can't get crazy like them down in South Dakota opening in February or March or anything like that. That would be kind of neat if we had the weather like that to do that. Our season is so short down here, though. I was also asked a question earlier today, would we consider getting an enduro again and trying? And the answer is still the same on it. If we could gather enough support to have an enduro, to make it worthwhile. Everybody will tell you, hey, you gotta just have it, and it'll grow year after year. But it's hard. It's hard from a promoter side to look at it and go, okay, I just want to give $10,000 away for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years just to see if it grows, and then find out you went 5 years down the road trying to grow this, and that's $50,000 you lost, that you could have put elsewhere. If we could get a solid base of people that were going to have one, that would be another scenario. I mean, if we could find that out. Gone are the days, I think, when you could get as many cars as Buffalo River used to get, when they used to be waiting in the pits to get on the track. That was when the enduros, in my opinion, were really cool. Nowadays, they're more like a race. Some of the guys have purpose-built these cars, in my opinion, and it's not the same type of enduro, in my opinion, of course. Everybody's got their own opinion. I know one guy who's very good at them, and he did not like some of the rule ideas I had, and he told me that pretty well up front, because, he doesn't want to work on his enduro car that much. But an enduro car is what it is. It's an enduro car. It's supposed to be, affordable, and it's a beginner thing, and it's how to get people into racing. But it's like everything else, gets expensive. I do have to say, congratulations. Lance Matthews was inducted in the National Late Model Hall of Fame this past week. Lance drives the number 90 late model. You've probably seen him in this area. He's run with the Outlaws. I saw him, I believe, this summer in Ada. He was there. I don't remember. I'm assuming he was probably in Grand Forks as well. But Lance is well known around the region, so congratulations to Lance on being recognized and inducted into the National Late Model Hall of Fame. I was reading somewhere too. I wonder if the North guys don't get quite the notoriety as some of the people down south and everything like that in the region or on the big tours, because there's some really, really good people that would be deserving, I think, that race up in the Midwest here, so up in the upper area. Anyway, we're gonna jump out of here, Addison. I'll see you in a couple weeks. I need to probably next week we won't be here, so that's good. The week after, though, we'll see how I feel. I might still be in a sling. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'll be in a sling, but I'll see how I feel.
Yeah, we'll see how you feel.
See how I feel.
Sorry, JT, I'm sick that day.
Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody, we're out of here till next time. Thanks for joining us on Track Talk as always.